Yo, yo, yo. This is the thrilling conclusion to evolution. We're going to learn about speciation and patterns of evolution. The process of speciation. So, how do these changes from natural selection or chance lead to the formation of new species? So, we're going to dive into that idea now. Some important vocab words you need to know for this process. And what is this word speciation? It's just simply new species being formed. And then remember, a species is classified as a group of organisms that breed with one another and produce fertile offspring. So again, fertile offspring is the key here. Okay. So for speciation to occur, the gene pools of two populations must become separated for them to become new species. So, as new species evolve, therefore populations become reproductively isolated. And what does that mean? It means that members of two populations cannot interbreed and produce fertile offspring. And there's that word again, fertile. Reproductive isolation occurs when members of different populations can no longer mate successfully. There are three types, and we're going to go into each one of these in detail. So, behavioral isolation, geographic isolation, and temporal isolation. And my hint to y'all is that you have to use the English language to help you guys determine the meaning of these words or these vocab here. So the first one is behavioral isolation. Behavioral meaning that the species most likely will not be able to breed with each other because of how they interact with each other. So due to a behavior. Let's take a look at the definition. So two populations are capable of interbreeding, but have differences in the courtship rituals or other reproductive strategies that involve behavior. So there you have it. You use that English word to define the situation. So the example would be the eastern and western meadowlarks. Members of the two species will not mate with each other because they have different songs to attract their mates. The eastern meadowlarks will not respond to the western meadowlark songs, and vice versa. So here are these birds here. They can breed with each other, but since their songs are different, they don't. So the second one is geographic isolation. So just looking at the word again, geographic most likely meaning that there's some sort of barrier that prevents the two populations from breeding with each other. So, isolation between populations due to a physical barrier, such as rivers, mountains, or bodies of water. So, we have these two types of squirrels. About 10,000 years ago, the Colorado River split the species into two separate populations. Two separate gene pools formed, and then natural selection worked separately on each group and led to the formation of a distinct subspecies, the kaibab squirrel. So our final one is temporal isolation. So this right here is most likely time. And there it is, where two populations reproduce at different times. So the most common one would be with plants. So three similar species of the same orchid all live in the same rainforest. Each species releases pollen only on a single day. Because the three species release pollen on different days, they cannot pollinate one another. So now there's that type of speciation, but we're going to take a look at patterns of evolution as well. So some large-scale evolutionary patterns and processes occur over different periods of time. Okay, so we're going to take a look at six: extinction, convergent evolution, divergent evolution, gradualism, punctuated equilibrium, and then co-evolution. So the first one is extinction. More than 99% of all species that have ever lived are extinct. Extinctions happen because species compete for resources and environmental changes. Some species adapt and change, while others become extinct in ways that are often caused by natural selection. Now, the disappearance of species left habitats open and provided ecological opportunities for those organisms that survive. So, again, the result is the burst of evolution that produces many new species. For example, the extinction of the dinosaurs cleared the way for the evolution of modern mammals and birds. So now the second pattern of evolution would be convergent evolution, where unrelated organisms come to resemble one another. And again, let's look at the example on the right. All of these animals have a streamlined body shape adapted for life underwater, but they come from, again, unrelated, organisms. We have the fish, reptile, bird, and mammal. So again, boom, convergent. So we see the graph there, lineage and trait value, they all go to one point or converge. Whereas divergent evolution is the process of two or more related species becoming more and more dissimilar over time. And we see that graph right here. It splits, it diverge. Right? Again, use that English language to your advantage for the evolution unit. So, gradualism versus punctuated equilibrium. So, how quickly does evolution occur? With gradualism, it takes long period of time with gradual changes along the way. And you guys can see and represent this type of pattern with a smooth line graph. Then with punctuated equilibrium, there's long stable periods interrupted by brief periods of rapid change. And so again, the rapid change, stability, rapid change, stability, rapid change, stability. So you can see punctuated is kind of like you know, break that stability and then boom, all of a sudden there's a rapid pace to fill that gap, and then boom, stability again. So punctuated equilibrium, you think of it punching a hole, then covering that hole for that stability portion. So let's take a look at the different models that represent the gradualism and punctuated equilibrium. With gradualism, you see that again, there are slight changes along the way over time. And for morphological changes with punctuated equilibrium, we see again a change here, and there, leading to differences. Coevolution. So this is the process in which two or more species evolve in response to changes in each other. So the plant has pores that secrete nectar for the ants, and then the ants live in the thorns, these hollow thorns, and evolved herbivore defense behaviors to protect the plants. So again, working in tandem with each other. So that was it for the content. Now make sure that you guys go to page 47, 48 in your booklet and do this practice, y'all. There will be a Canvas check for it, so make sure you complete it and then take the Canvas check. The Canvas check is another grade. Make sure you get it done, y'all. Let's work on two together. The male firefly flashes his tail light in a certain pattern while trying to mate with a female firefly. The female firefly recognizes and will mate with only certain light patterns. So obviously this is behavioral. So the next one, the long bills in some Latin American hummingbirds match the long or sharply curved flowers from which they sip nectar. The flower depends on the bird for pollination, and the bird relies on the flower for food. So this is evolving together, coevolution. Okay, y'all, have a good one.